top 14 places, people. The clubs have been guaranteed. We know who's going to be in the playoffs, but what place they are going to sit and what matchups they're going to have is going to be reliant on these last two games of the season. We have pretty much third, fourth, fifth, and sixth all playing each other. So this is going to be a big matchup on who could take third, who could be sixth, who knows. So I want to break that down in this video. Like and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And I've become an affiliate with Amazon. So if you guys want to grab yourself a free 30-day trial, check out the link below and free sign up, get your watch on. You know what I mean. So let's break this down, right? So first up, we have Toulon in third, 72 points. Bayonne fourth with 68. And then we have Clermont and Castres on 63 points apiece, right? So we look at this. There's a couple different potentials that could happen here. There's also a couple different ways that this could play out. So first up, let's look into what each team needs, right? So first up, Toulon, they've pretty much guaranteed themselves pretty high up. Either a win or a draw guarantees them third place, which is ideally what they want and more than likely is what's going to happen. But if things don't go their way, let's say they lose with a bonus point, they could potentially finish fourth, fifth, depending on if if the other game doesn't go their way. Or they lose with no points. That could potentially even drop them a little bit lower, but who knows? So Toulon are pretty much guaranteed third, but yeah, actually not thinking about it, I don't think they could potentially drop anything. So it would literally just be fourth. Yeah, so even if they lose, I think the only team that could potentially catch them is Bayion. So I'd say the worst place that they could potentially finish would be fourth, which wouldn't be ideal for them. And then we go into Bayonne. With a win, they could, with a win would be minimum fourth place, but also a potential third, depending on how things go with Toulon. If they do lose, however, that could potentially mean dropping down to sixth as a worst case scenario in the event that both Clermont and Castres were to get bonus points and win. I don't know, that it's very unlikely that would happen. I'm just trying to do the math if that's even possible. But again, I'm pretty certain Bayonne is going to come through with a win. More than likely, we will see Toulon and Bayonne come through with wins. But Clermont and Castres, they are not an easy team to go up against. They will hit you with some serious fire. So with a win for Clermont, they could jump up a little bit, potentially, go up against Bayonne, but a loss could potentially see them drop into sixth. And obviously, depending on Castres, with a win, it could jump them up, relatively high. But this is just going to come down to who gets who, right? So if results go as expected, Toulon beats Castres and Bayonne beats Clermont, we would see Toulon versus Clermont, and we would see Bayonne potentially beat Castres, or vice versa. So if we are to see Clermont finish fifth, it would then be Bayonne versus Clermont again, and then Toulon versus Castres. Toulon versus Castres and Bayonne versus Clermont. This is confusing, people. So it all comes down to how things play out, right? Now, in terms of this, it is highly unlikely that we are going to end up seeing anyone win other than Toulouse versus Toulouse or Bordeaux. It's kind of simple, but we have seen things go other ways. Bordeaux are coming in with some serious fire. They are coming in with the fire of them winning the Champions Cup, beating the Saints, playing some really, really strong rugby. And then you have the likes of Toulouse, who are monsters, like just absolute monsters. So honestly, even though Bordeaux won the Champions Cup, I still personally have Toulouse as the front runners for winning the top 14. I do. They've absolutely killed it in the season. They are going to be without Dupont, but when you have players like Lebel, Intimac, Ramos, Miafau, Malvaca, Jack Willis, it's like they have Galacticos, they are ridiculous. And then they have their substitutions, which are just as strong as their first team. And even then, they are still ridiculously powerful, even without the likes of Antoine Dupont in their side. So I do still have Toulouse as the favorites for this. They've got ridiculous depth. They've got a winning culture based off of, hard work, the determination. You've seen how these players play, that quick ball. They are not unbeatable, right? There have been teams that have broken them down, but in terms of getting there, I do feel that Toulouse are still the front runners in that. But that's not to say Bordeaux are out of the question here, right? The performances that were put in, especially in the Champions Cup, was ridiculous. When you have players like Damien Penaud and Bielbiare, is unfair. And then you still have players like Mofana, which is just another unfair player, right? So those backs are just so scary. They move the ball so quick. Maxime Lucu is just so liquid and he's fluid with the ball. And again, we can see why France didn't really struggle without Antoine Dupont. The performances that Lucu put in, I think that kind of put a little bit of the French fans' worries and thoughts to rest. The performances that he put in for France in the Six Nations, because everybody was going absolutely nuts when Antoine Dupont got injured. But Lucu, he said himself, he put out a very good image. He put in some very good performances, and then he followed it through to the end of the season. So even now, let's say Dupont was to get injured again, everybody would know in the back of their mind, we have Lucu. So are we really losing quality? No, not at all. Obviously, he's no Dupont, but can he bang in a game? Of course he can. And he does that so good. He does it so good. So Bordeaux are still there. But guys, I'm telling you, this is gonna be fire. This is gonna be fire. Now, the dark horses are obviously Toulon, Bayonne, Clermont, and Castres. The likelihood of them getting through to the finals is relatively low, depending on Toulouse, Bordeaux, blah blah blah. Castres and Clermont, they'll be lucky to get to the semis with the likes of Bayonne and Toulon. Toulon, they are just so physical. They've got a brilliant defense. They're very difficult to break down, as we've seen through the season. They've got a lot of experienced players. You look at Bayonne, they are almost unbeatable at home at times. And they're just one of those teams that they play with their heart, they play with flair. They're very quick around the park. And again, a very, very difficult team to break down, right? Clermont, they are, I would say they're inconsistent, but they are dangerous when things click, they just click. And they are ridiculously scary. When they are in the rhythm and that ball is flowing, they are very, very scary. And they are a team that will give Toulouse and Bordeaux ridiculous problems. But that's the thing. They have to be perfect circumstances, ready to go at the right time. I don't I don't feel they will have enough firepower to deal with the likes of your Toulouse, Bordeaux, and Toulon. I just don't feel that they would. Castres, I just feel they're very good at grinding out. They grind out wins up against very tough teams. But when you look at getting in that consistent form, in that flow, I just feel that they aren't fully present for the entire game. And when you're playing up against teams like your Toulon, who are very good defensively, and they will happily annoy the living hell out of you until you make a mistake or open up some lines, and then they're going to absolutely destroy you. Um, I just feel that the big teams will just have too much firepower again for Castres to handle. I don't know. I just feel that that power in offense and defense, like Bordeaux and Toulouse, they have a very good balance in both, um, and they would be very, very difficult to break down. Like especially the time, because they're going to come down to knockout. Who's going to have the grit? Who's going to have the mental stability and the mental fortitude to get on with it? I can't see Castres having that, if that makes sense. So I might be annoying some people by saying it, but that's just what I feel. I do feel we are going to be seeing. I do believe we are going to be seeing Toulouse, Toulon, Bayonne, and Bordeaux in the semis, and then potentially on how things go, a Bordeaux Toulouse final. So let me know what you guys think, because playoffs, I think we're going to see Toulouse win. Sorry, Toulon win. We're going to see Bayonne win, get into the semis, and then see how that all plays out. But can anyone stop Toulouse from lifting this trophy? Personally, I feel there's only one team, and that's Bordeaux. And if Bordeaux win this and win the Champions Cup, yo, yo, what a season! So I'm secretly rooting for Bordeaux, but I have Toulouse to come through with the win. So smash that like button if you're excited for playoff rugby, if you're excited for the top 14 rugby, and don't forget to subscribe. I will be covering as much top 14 rugby as physically possible. I'm going to be covering the quarterfinals, semis, finals, everything. So stay tuned for that. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.